Hi all. In this video I give a brief overview of some of the things that we will discuss in week 2 of our History of Mathematics course. Well, we can't leave the Greek era without talking about Archimedes. He was perhaps the greatest mathematician of Greek antiquity and maybe of all time. He lived about 250 BC in the Greek colony of Syracuse, which is in modern-day Sicily. It is likely that you've heard of Archimedes before. There are many accomplishments and stories attributed to him. For instance, he is said to have produced a giant parabolic mirror that destroyed enemy ships off the coast of Syracuse, that he was able to tow a giant ship across a great distance of dry land. The law of the lever and the principles of volume are attributed to him. He was the first to calculate the volume of a sphere, and in our discussion this week, we're going to see how Archimedes computed the area of a circle. It's a very interesting and informative construction. Once we move on from Archimedes, we're going to go to the world of polynomial equations, which, as you know, come up from time to time in school mathematics. Now, quadratic equations have been known to mathematicians for a long, long time. In fact, the Babylonians, as early as 1700 BC, were able to formulate problems and solve problems involving quadratic equations. However, the Babylonians didn't tell us anything about the ideas that were behind their solutions to these quadratic equations. In fact, one of the first places where we see an inkling of the thought processes behind solving quadratic equations is in Arabic mathematics, and that will be discussed this week. Now, quadratic equations may have been accessible to mathematicians in the ancient world, but cubic equations in general were not. There were many people who tried throughout history to solve cubic equations in general. For example, Fibonacci knew how to solve some types of cubic equations, but he was not able to do cubic equations in general. That would have to wait for Cardano and Tartaglia and a collection of people in the 16th century. This is a particularly important moment in the history of mathematics because for the first time, modern mathematicians, relatively modern mathematicians, were able to outdo in a significant way the work of their elders. Therefore, I consider the solution to the cubic equation to be one of the greatest, probably the greatest mathematical achievement of the Renaissance. Well, I hope you enjoy this week's study in the history of mathematics, and best of luck.